What is up, fam? It has been a while. Project Maverick is still here. There she is, and I thought I would do another overview. This is stage 3, so let's just get into it. Let's start with the stuff that everyone wants to know, the powertrain. So, motor is the QS 13870H V1. It is rated at 3,000 watts, but as many of you know, these specs from QS Motor don't mean too much. Right now, I'm pushing at about over, I want to say 20 kilowatts through this peak, and it is a very beastie motor. It barely gets hot. Love it. Domo from Supervolt built the swing arm. I don't know if you remember, but he did some improvements to the swing arm from stage 2. So he added this piece right here. He also added some bracing there. Some reinforcements right there. And then also, as you can see, it's running like a dirt bike style type of tensioner. So there's a thread in here, and this pretty much pushes the wheel assembly back in order to tension the chain. This is really dope. I love it. I don't have to run a chain tensioner. It looks cleaner. A little bit quieter without the chain tensioner. Super dope. A battery pack also made by Domo. This is a 72 volt 37.8 amp hour or 38 amp hour Moly cell P42A. It is the 180 400 amp BMS. I haven't done a range test on it yet, but because this bike is pushing so much power, it's really easy to drain down this battery when I'm running the highest power setting. Great pack. You can see Domo has some nice, I believe this is aluminum for the casing, and there's like a reflective honeycomb material for the back. You can see some cells there. It did really great job. This is a big pack. I want to say it weighs at least 40-50 pounds ish, and I have 3 tie-down straps in there. The only way actually that I was able to fit the pack in there was pretty much removing the top subframe and then sliding it in through the front and then putting the subframe back. So it's a really big pack. The swing arm was pretty much made and modeled and designed around the motor and the battery. Great stuff there. Voltal controller is the EM200-2. It is currently set at about 290 battery amps. I'm only pushing out about 266 at peak. I think it's about set around 525, 550 phase. I think it's capable of 600 amp phase. So I do still have a little headroom in there. I don't think I want to max it out just because it's already super powerful. And this bike does about 80 miles an hour right now with the current gearing, which is a 11 tooth 428 chain. Great setup. Shout out to Austin from Electro Company for the tuning. This thing is super smooth. It has a buttery feel, very predictable. Modulation's great. I've tried other tunes from other people and other builders, and by far, Electro Company has like the best tunes I've tried so far. This is a Olin's shock mounted upside down. I think I could actually fit it the right way, but I didn't want to take the extra time to do all the modding to make it fit. So this is the easiest way, and it works great so far. This is, I think, a 9.5 by 3. I forgot the type of model, but this is, I mean, as many of you, especially dirt bike, moto people know, this is like top shelf rear shock. I got a great deal on it. I know everyone's like, why you put a Olin shock in a Razor? Super expensive, but I got a really good deal. Has adjustable dampening, all that good stuff. Very good shock. As you can see, Domo did his handy, talented, dope work to get me that angle. For those that aren't familiar with the RSF, it's pretty much That is pretty much the angle. It's like a completely vertical angle on the rear shock stock. So he pretty much added this piece for the rear shock mount to give me that angle up into the top there. Super dope. Love it. Love it. Domo did an amazing job on the swing arm, the battery, just everything. His design is pretty spot on. I love it. As you can see, the motor looks like it's floating, which is great. I love how Domo mounted this QS motor to the swing arm. So there's 3 connection points. The first one, let's see, there's one, well, I don't think you can see it, but let's come to the other side. So there's one screw, and then the other one is right here, but I can only access it through, there's like a hole here, down there, and that's the only way I can access it. So that's the first mounting point. The second mounting point is under there. So there's 2 there, and that's under. And then the third one is on the other side. Let's swing around here. And hopefully, oh, there it is. Bring this down. Boom, right there. Very dope design. I love it. It just looks like it's floating there on the swing arm. Domo is the man. He's very talented. I love the design on that. One thing that was unfortunate was this part for the foot peg was super folded in. It got super damaged from shipping, so pretty much had to get some square tubing, and it was my first time welding, so as you can see, that's my excuse right there, is my first time, but I was able to fix it, so now it works. For these foot pegs, these are just Amazon, fold up there. I had to cut out a little aluminum spacer there to fill the gap, as I do with all my razor builds. Here is the front brake. This is just your basic pit bike brake, and I was only able to get this pit bike brake to fit by turning the fork around this way. This is pretty much for the covers for the front. So I was only able to make it fit by turning it around. You would think it wouldn't make any difference, right? But I've tried all the different configurations and combinations. This is the only way. I had to do some heavy grinding to this thing because it was rubbing on this rotor. So I had to grind on the inside, and I had to grind the little pins that hold the brake pads in places. So it was a pain, but it works now. It's good. As you can see, I'm not getting full contact. There's like maybe like, I don't know, 15, 20-ish%. But hey, it works with the help of regen. These are from Royce Ramirez, 197 millimeter, and I think they're about 3 millimeter thick with the razor bolt pattern. He does great work. Very clean machining on there. Great rotor, great setup, especially for this much power. These are the 3.5 by 10 PMT Blackfires. If you don't know about PMT, they make pretty much some of the best tires. These tires are specifically made for track. These are a little bit more for street. It's a radial compound, so they're softer. You don't have to run the tire PSI is high. They just feel great compared to nylon. They soak up vibrations and all the imperfections in the road better. Super smooth, very buttery feeling. These are the Fly Pig hydraulic forks from Amazon. I had to do a lot to get them to fit. I'm not going to go into too much detail. As you can see, the axle or the through bolt is a little long there. I have to add some spacers, but it works. Feels a lot better than stock, obviously. I had to use a lot of different washer combinations. I had to use the drill press and the spacers for the bearings and all that just to get it to fit. But now it's good. Also, before I forget, I am running Jim's hybrid ceramic bearings, wheel bearings for the rear and the front, and also the stem bearings. It's supposed to be less resistance, last longer. I did decide to go with the ones that you have to lube every couple hundred miles just because they're supposed to be the highest performing, the least amount of resistance, but I don't mind that. I don't mind the preventive maintenance stuff. I actually enjoy doing that, so that's no biggie. This is ENC's Pro Throttle. Really good feel. It's thicker, not thicker, but it is a stronger spring. Love this throttle. There's the lever. What's nice about these pit bike brakes is that it comes with a brake switch right there. There's 2 wires running out from there, so I have it wired to my rear tail light, and then I also wired the daytime running. So got a functioning brake light there. This is the DKD display that came with the powertrain kit from Electron Company. Woo! Thing's beastie. What else? 3 power mode settings, 1, 2, and 4, I think. It's about 50, 75, 100% power output. And then I have this steering damper just because I got wobbles on my last speed run at about 65 miles an hour. So this is pretty much for ATV light bar mount. There's a little spacer in there. The lighting's not too good. You can't really see it, but there's a rubber spacing in there. Spacer. And then this was a 42 or 43 millimeter fork tube mount, specifically for a damper. It was a little too short, so I kind of had to grind down the ends there to make it sit a little bit more flush on my fork tubes. But that's how I have it mounted. I did lose some steering radius there, so that's where it stops. That's where it stops. I'm gonna upgrade to, this is a 10-inch, I'm gonna upgrade to the 13-inch one just so I can get some more radius back. This is the adjustable dampening, so turning it right makes it stiffer, and then left makes it smoother. Pretty much adjust the friction from the dampening of the piston within the chamber here. But definitely need this now, with especially if I'm doing high speed pulls. I don't want that speed wobble. It's very scary for those that never experienced it. Basic Luna seat, float seat that everyone's been trying to get because they're sold out. So pretty much, you know, this, I'm not gonna lie, like, I don't know if you could tell, but this bike is like held together by zip ties and washers for the most part. Zip ties there for the DKD, and then here's how I did the seat. So there's the rear, there's the front. It does shift a little bit. I'll find a more permanent, better, cleaner solution for everything once it's done. Rest in peace to my boy Knack. And no rear brake yet. I have regen set to about 33 amps peak. So regen's pretty strong, especially with that front brake. But I do need a rear brake. I already have all the parts. I just got to figure out how to make it fit there. As you can see, Domo has the pin there with the mount, so it slides with the tire when I adjust the chain. But there it is, y'all. I think I covered everything for the most part. Your basic voltmeter. But shout out to Domo from Supervolt. Check him out. SUPR_Volt on Facebook and Instagram. Royce Ramirez for the rotors. Royce also makes custom swing arm for the razors as well. Electron Company. Who else? Pretty much everyone else that helped me with this build. Oh, and I have these switches from Amazon. So this one is for the daytime running. This one is for the naval headlight. I've been running this headlight on all my razor belts, super bright. And then this one, I have some blue underglows. You can't see them right now, but you can see a little bit there. Zach Wong, shout out to Zach. He gave me this strip long time ago. I actually found it randomly in this drawer there. So that's cool. It's super bright. This is Amazon as well. But there it is, y'all. About 80 miles an hour right now with the current gearing. It's peaking about between 20 to 22 kilowatts. Beastie build. So far, I'm just gonna enjoy it. It's been like 6 months since I've ridden, so I just want to get slept together and ride and enjoy it right now. I love this thing. It's super smooth. I'll try to get some clips, some flybys, and some speed runs later on, but there we go. Ride safe out there, fam.